And we are back with another episode of the Baseline Bums podcast. It is your host, Rob, aka B Ball Archives. And once again, I am joined by I'm actually joined by no one today. AJ and Adam, they are both not here. It's Christmas, so they are with their loved ones. Completely understandable. I'm glad that they get to spend Christmas with their families. But at the end of the day, I'm here giving you a Christmas episode of the Baseline Bums. We're going to talk about some fun Christmas topics. We're going to start off with my favorite Christmas moments. I'm going to mention a couple of them, but I'm going to really dive into one of my favorites. I think you're really going to like it. We're going to be talking about some fun stuff like NBA Christmas shoes. There is some absolutely wild, ridiculous Christmas fashion that goes on when we're talking about NBA shoes. I want to chat about it. And lastly, I'm going to do a fun segment called Spurs on Christmas by the numbers, and I'm going to break down exactly how the Spurs have played on Christmas up to this date. So that's going to be a very interesting topic as well. You're not going to want to miss it. So I appreciate you for tuning in. So all that being said, let's just go ahead and dive on in. So favorite Christmas moments. I know that there's so many great Christmas moments. For us NBA fans, Christmas Day basketball is very similar to football fans when they talk about Thanksgiving football. It just hits different, so to speak. So when I'm talking about my favorite Christmas moments, there's some noteworthy moments. Like I think a lot of the younger generation, they're going to talk about Kyrie's game winner in 2016 against the Warriors. They're gonna put that one really high up there because that was a really important game, and the way that they beat the Warriors whenever they were having the season that they were having. It was a special win. Kyrie's game winner, that's going to be up there. For me, whenever I'm looking back on it, like one of the most significant ones was LA's revenge game in 2008, whenever Kobe beat the Celtics on Christmas Day after they had lost the finals earlier that year. To me, that was very significant because it's Kobe on Christmas. He does not want to lose. I mean, Kobe never wants to lose, but especially after losing the finals, he's going to go out there and try to punch you right in the mouth. So that's to me that's one of my favorite ones, but above and beyond all of that, my favorite Christmas Day moment is Shaq and Kobe. Shaq playing Kobe for the very first time. Shaq leaving LA, landing in Miami, and the very first matchup that they have is on Christmas Day. And so this to me is uh, a monumental game for so many reasons because not only were these two teams really big powerhouses, powerhouse in the West, powerhouse in the East, but that relationship and the way it deteriorated and the fact that this was their first head-to-head matchup on Christmas Day, absolutely monumental. So yeah, this was a big game for many reasons. I think and the fact that it ended up being a really good tight game. It was an overtime game. Miami ended up winning 104 to 102. But both of these mega superstars did not disappoint. Shaq ended up with 24 and 11. Kobe finished with 42 and 6. This was a game that both of these guys brought it, but who ended up stealing the show was Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade ended up balling out of control and ended up propelling Miami to that victory. So everyone was focused on Kobe Shaq, but it was actually D Wade that ended up stealing the show. So I gotta give props to D Wade on a night when everyone was focused elsewhere. He managed to slide in there and dominate. But we all know D Wade is very capable of doing that, and he's had many nights like that. So to me, that is the most significant Christmas moment, at least for me, the one that I watched. I know that there's a lot of huge Christmas performances, but many of them happened even before I was watching basketball, and I didn't get to appreciate them live. But this was the one that I got to watch this live. I got to watch this narrative unfold before me, and and it was absolutely special. It was a monumental game to watch these two Goliaths battle it out. And it ended up being a good game. So, yeah, I got to say Shaq versus Kobe on Christmas. was my favorite Christmas moment, and honestly, the fact that there was no friendliness. Sometimes you see guys dap each other up at half court, give each other a little fist bump or a handshake. Absolutely none of that. No friendliness, not even any eye contact to begin the game. So this was chippy basketball through and through. That's the kind of play I like. So yeah, that definitely sums up my favorite Christmas moment in the NBA. But yeah, moving on. Yeah, we're gonna keep things moving this episode. I don't have any guests on. I don't have AJ or Adam with me, so I'm just gonna keep this gravy train rolling. Next, we're gonna be diving into some NBA Christmas shoes. Yeah, pretty interesting topic over here. Um, as many of us know, Christmas shoe fashion in the NBA is wild. Players will use the occasion, will use the holiday to really rock some insane shoes. Some of them really great, some of them absolutely atrocious. Let's dive in. Some of my favorite ones, I'm going to go ahead and shout this one out because I think it is above and beyond the best Christmas shoe ever made. It's the Kobe Grinches. It's the Grinch sixes, the shoe Kobe wore in the 2010 Christmas game. Um, Whenever I think about the epitome of a Christmas shoe, this is it. He is the player that enjoyed being the villain, so why not embody the Grinch? And for Kobe to come out with a shoe like this to rock it on Christmas, I think it's absolutely brilliant. And it's honestly Kobe Bryant through and through. So I for me that's my favorite Christmas shoe. Not only the style of it, but just the symbolism behind it. So I think I definitely like those Grinch sixes he wore in 2010. Also, shout out to PJ Tucker. I mean, anyone that knows PJ Tucker and his shoe game knows that he has one of the most expansive shoe collections in the NBA. He's rocking some of the freshest, most rarest shoes you will ever see on a nightly basis. So in 2018, whenever he wore the LeBron sixes, the Stewie Griffin edition LeBron sixes, it blew my mind because I love animated shows like Family Guy, American Dad, Rick and Morty, Futurama, things like that. And so I would love to pay homage to some of my favorite shows like that with a shoe like that. And so I thought it was really really clean. I like how the shoe looked animated while he was wearing it. So for me that's a pretty badass shoe. Shout out to PJ Tucker. He's going to be playing again on Christmas this year, so we'll see what PJ is going to be wearing for the 2022 Christmas Day game. Um, Another shoe I would like to give a shout out to is the Way of Wade's D Wade shoe that he was rocking in 2012. Uh, it was a pretty clean shoe. Overall, I don't think it was super unique. One of the things I just do want to point out is he wore two different pair during the game. He wore a white and red pair for the first half, and then it changed into a green and red pair for the second half. So to have two different clean, nice, glossy Christmas Day shoes and to showcase both of them, I think that's pretty badass. And I also think the shoe itself had a really cool design. I never wore them, so I don't know what it was like to hoop in them. Yeah, they could have felt like bricks on your feet for all I know, but at the end of the day, that shoe looked really nice, and D Wade balled out in them. So at the end of the day, I can't hate on it too much. But yeah, so I got to give a shout out to the Way of Wade's. But also I gotta keep it going. LeBron nines, the Christmas LeBron nines he wore in 2011, just a really clean, classic Christmas shoe. Like whenever I'm thinking of just uh, a clean red shoe with a green lace, it's just really classic, really, really just really embodies the holiday and doesn't really break the mold too much. So whenever I think of just straight up down the line Christmas shoes, that's it. And I hooped in the LeBron nines in college, so I know that that's a well made shoe. That's a shoe that I would like to wear, and I think that it holds up well. Um, Same thing with the next shoe I want to mention is the Mellow Nines. That's a shoe I also hooped in. The Mellows Carmelo Anthony wore these in the 2013 Christmas game. I hooped a lot in these shoes, and they were really really comfortable. They held up well, and I was able to put up a lot of points, and so was Melo. So I don't think we can hate on these shoes too much. Very very clean shoe. Any shoe made by Jordan, and it's a Christmas edition, I'm probably gonna love it. So those are definitely some shoes that I feel like need to be talked about, need to be mentioned, and definitely need to be appreciated because there's so much fashion that goes on around Christmas time in the NBA that it's usually a sight to behold. But let's also talk about some of the bad shoes. Thon Maker and his gingerbread shoes. These are absolutely atrocious. It's just basically an all black shoe with like a few gingerbread man towards the heel. And it has no thought to it. It just looks nasty. Like, I don't know what he was thinking wearing these shoes, but absolutely, I'm giving you an F for those shoes. Uh, just absolutely terrible. Um, I'm also gonna have to give Russell Westbrook his Christmas tree light shoes. They look like basically like Christmas tree on the toes, and then the back is just like a box. It looks like so boxy. Like I don't get the design at all. Like if it was just the Christmas tree light part all around the whole shoe, I could get on board with it. But oh my goodness, the shoe looks terrible. It looks terrible. I have to give that one an F. And Marcus Morris, I hate to do it to you, but his baby's firstborn or his baby's first Christmas shoes. I don't quite understand it because on half of his shoe it has like his baby's face, which is cool. Like I like the fact that you're paying, you're showing love to your firstborn, your first during his first Christmas. But at the end of the day, I'm so confused why the other half of the shoe has like an angry snowman on it. It looks like a snowman that's trying to fight somebody. And on the other half of the shoe, it's got like your smiling child on it. I'm confused. Help me out with this, Marcus. But at the end of the day, these are just some shoes that just really had me scratching my head. I was like, what's going on with these Christmas shoes? This is an opportunity to show some amazing fashion, and some of these guys are doing well, and some of these guys are kind of shit in the bed. All right, that kind of wraps up the NBA Christmas shoes segment, and we're going to dive into the next segment called Spurs on Christmas by the Numbers. So, there's been a lot of teams that have played games on Christmas. The Spurs are not a team that I would say is a good Christmas performer. We are 5-6 in all of our Christmas games over the years. Uh, the fact that the Spurs have the highest winning percentage in NBA history, but we have a losing record on Christmas, I think is quite interesting. Um, our biggest win, in fact, was our most recent Christmas outing, and that was in 2016. We had a 119-100 win over Chicago. Um, for me, for me, just thinking about it in that way, I can't believe that was our largest Christmas victory in 2016. Um, Over the years, over our 11 Christmas performances, we are 31% from three, which is horrible. We are 46% from field goal, not too great. And we are only 74% from the line. So there's a lot to be desired when we look at our efficiency. The Spurs are just not a very efficient Christmas team. And it's kind of unfortunate because Christmas is a time that you want to see your team step up. You want to see them play well on that big stage, and the Spurs just haven't really done that. The Spurs also have had distribution issues. We have a 1.759 assist to turnover ratio, one of the worst assist to turnover ratios on any day in Spurs history. So there's only a couple of weeks out of the year where we have worse assist to turnover ratios than this. I'm not sure what it is about Christmas, but the Spurs just can't really play well on Christmas. We struggle to get our footing. We struggle to hit shots, and we can't really distribute very well like we normally do. So it seems like the holiday just kind of throws us off a little bit. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm glad we're not playing. I'm glad the Spurs aren't playing this Christmas, so we won't have to worry about this issue. But yeah, a couple of our bad losses during Christmas and 2005, We lost to the Detroit Pistons 70-85. We only put up 70 points on Christmas. And this is in '05 when we had an amazing team. This is prime Tim Duncan, and this is when Tony and Ginobili, they're getting their footing. They're starting to understand it a little bit, and we're losing by 15 on Christmas to a really good Detroit team. And I think another notable string of losses is we lost in 13, 14, and 15 when we had championship contending teams. We lost to Houston, then we lost to OKC, then we lost to Houston again. It's kind of wild. The Spurs just can't perform on Christmas. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm just gonna go back to my previous statement and say that I'm kind of glad we're not playing on Christmas because we might catch another L. Yeah, but it's interesting. Even when the Spurs have been at their best, just can't get it done on Xmas. I'm not sure what it is. But yeah, glad we're not playing on Christmas. The only thing as a Spurs fan that I really want for Christmas, and I've been saying it on TikTok, I've been saying it on Instagram, on Twitter, on every kind of live I can. All I want as a Spurs fan for Christmas is Victor Wembanyama. But if Santa was to bring me Scoot Henderson, I wouldn't cry about it. That's how I'm going to phrase that. I appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode of the Baseline Bums podcast. It has been your host, Rob, aka B-Ball Archives. Go ahead and check us out on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter. We are on all the socials. And also go check out our sponsor, Turning Point Brewery. They are out of Bedford, Texas. The beer I have right here is called Highlight the Lowlights. It is a delicious German dark beer. They have tons of beers, great for the holidays. So go ahead and pick up a 12-pack. Like I said, that's been another episode of the Baseline Bums podcast. It's your host, Rob, aka B-Ball Archives. And thank you for joining me this Christmas. I hope you enjoyed some of the Christmas topics we talked about, and we will have more episodes coming at you very soon. All right, y'all take care and happy holidays.